for the beginning of your meal.
Absolutely.
So this is Scott Jordan, and you are watching live here at Cellars of Sonoma. And I'm going to answer the question that we asked before we took our break. And it's a true and false, so you got 50% chance. That's pretty easy. If you're switching to a different wine in your glass, it's best to swirl some water into the glass first. Easy question for me. I see it all the time. You guys probably see it too when you pour at all the events and all the pouring that we do here. I see people all the time put water in their glass, and I just about have a heart attack. The answer is false. You do not want to put water in there. If you're going to rinse your wine with anything, rinse it with the next wine. It kind of freaks people out because I pour it in their glass. I won't tell them what I'm doing. They're going, I want to rinse that out. I go, okay, let me help it. And I pour in the wine. I go like that, and I dump it, and they go, what did you just do? What did you do? I said, I eliminated all that water because the water is going to take the alcohol and make it evaporate. I mean, you can see it. You can see it on the side of the glass just rising. That's all that alcohol. So unless you want fruit juice, you got to just use the wine that you're going to be pouring next, pour it in there. Now, if you're going to go from a red wine to a white wine, I would suggest switching glasses maybe as a right. I mean, I think that's probably a better way to go. Or put a lot of that white wine in there and really swirl it out to get that red stain. But I'd rather have that than water. Water just doesn't work, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay. So good answer. So if you got the answer right, that's good. If you didn't get it right, now you know what to do. Just pour the next wine in there. So I'm going to reach over here. I feel like I'm going the wrong. Oh, I got the right one. Okay. You guys put those in the same kind of bottle, didn't you? Okay. So our next wine is Pinot Noir. This is your 2008. The first vintage that you did in Pinot was what, the 07? Was that your first actually produced commercially, or? So this is the 2008, also from the property, right?
Correct. Yep.
Estate produced.
All estate.
Maybe a little quick background on the vineyard and on our label. We've been growing these grapes, the Pinot Noir grapes, for over 13 years now, and have been selling the fruit to other wineries that have been making great wine. And in fact, we've been making wine in the barn for years with our grapes, and winning some nice awards as amateur winemakers. Mm-hmm. And so we decided with the 07 crop to keep a little bit back to launch our label. And we made 230 cases that first year. And we got some gold medals with that first vintage. And so our hope is to eventually keep growing our label to where we're using more and more of our fruit for our label and not just selling it all. We think it's such good fruit. We want to be able to show it off ourselves and take advantage.
Well, if you really want to see firsthand on what a beautiful property they have, in May we're going to have our second annual lobster lunch at their property, May 28th, and we'll start announcing that and getting tickets available on that event. You really get a real hands-on walk through the vineyard. I mean, it's just spectacular. And of course, we'll have this amazing meal. But to be there surrounded by the vineyards is pretty cool. And, that's a once-in-a-lifetime adventure for some people. And, you guys are surrounded by it. But other people have no idea how cool that is. But you really get an appreciation for the quality of what you guys put together on that property. The way that it's farmed is a big deal, right? I mean, that's
right. We farm it sustainably, and we really try to make sure that we're in sync with nature and that we are able to not use very much water with our cross protection. And we just recently put in some solar panels, so we are trying to do the right thing and conserve energy however we can.
Yeah, make that meter go backwards. I saw that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, in fact, we had a great time last year at the Lobster Lunch.
Yeah.
It was right after the solar panel.
Right,
yeah, right. You just put those in.
We did a tour, and everybody got to take their glass of wine out there and look at solar panels and see the meter going backwards.
That was great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But it is a beautiful property. So if you're making plans for vacation, those of you tuning in from other parts of the country, that's a great treat for that lobster lunch and to visit the vineyard. So and you'll get firsthand look at where these beautiful wines are made from. Retail price on this, $35. Again, it's all estate fruit, man. I'm telling you, I challenge you. You're not going to find a small production Pinot Noir, estate grown, in that price range. You just don't see it. You don't. And I went to the World of Pinot days and down in Pismo Beach, and I'll tell you what, man, we were talking about some price points there. I was looking at $60, $70 wines, and a lot of them couldn't hold a candle to this. I mean, these are beautiful, handcrafted, very elegant wine, a beautiful, beautiful color, a little lighter color than what you might see in the Russian River, partly because of the soil and the coolness, right?
Cooler climate.
A little cooler, yeah.
Right.
A great addition to the portfolio. What a fabulous wine. And again, small production, right? I mean,
we did 628 cases of that '08 vintage. It got a gold medal at the San Francisco Chronicle competition, and we even if we do realize our dream of eventually using all of our fruit for our label, we're never going to be big. It's just
no. How big is that property up there?
We've got 6 acres of vines, is all.
And that's and again, for those of you tuning in from other parts of the country, when you look at wine country, that's not a lot of fruit. I mean, that's really tiny. That's small. What would be the how much tonnage could you get out of that if you pick the whole thing?
Well, case-wise, we could get about 1,500 cases if we converted all of our acreage into our own wine.
Well, that'll tick off those wineries that are buying that fruit because they like that wine. Because I know one of the producers that makes a heck of a sparkling wine, and there's a reason why that's a heck of a sparkling wine.
And because we're so small, we are able to control the quality a lot better of our wines because we are small production, we are hands-on, and we're able to really keep a good eye on it.
Well, the next wine we're gonna taste is the '08 Zinfandel. This comes from Dry Creek. Those of you that don't know, we're about 55 miles north of the Golden Gate Bridge. The Dry Creek Valley starts in Healdsburg, which is about 14 miles to the north, and then it goes a little bit inland from there. The source of fruit was from the Mounts Vineyard, right? That's an old family vineyard that's been producing some pretty nice wines for a long time. And, the reality is it starts in the vineyard, right? I mean, there's no magic. You guys are great winemakers, but, you're not a magician. And so it's got to start in the vineyard. And this is a great example of some really wonderful fruit that you sourced out to make this being your first Zinfandel.
Right. Yeah, and we're very pleased to be able to get this fruit. And we're even more pleased with how well the wine came out. But, Dry Creek Valley, to my way of thinking, is probably the best place on earth for growing Zinfandel. And as I say, we were happy to get this little bit of fruit. We only made 75 cases of this first vintage of Zinfandel.
Now, 75 cases, those of you that don't know, that's about what, 4 barrels or 3.5 or somewhere in there?
Right.
Right around 4?
Three to 4. 3 barrels.
That's not a lot of wine. That's a lot of wine for your garage, but it's not a lot of wine in the wine industry. I mean, this is micro production, right? This is boutique. Well, it's even less than that. It's micro, right? I mean, no question about it. And that means handcrafted. I mean, those barrels, you guys had your hand in every one of them. And so tell the folks, before we take our next break, I'm going to ask another question. But tell us how long are you aging that, and what are you aging this wine in?
The Zinfandel is aged in a combination of American and European oak for 10 to 11 months. And on this lot, this '08 vintage, we've literally got, I think, 12 cases left. So
Wow.
We're down to the nubbins on it, and I'm going to be really sad when it's gone because
it's pouring really good. And I'm going to throw a little warning out there for those of you that are my First Sips members. When these wines get to a certain case lot that's left, they end up going into the library because they become more valuable, and the price goes up. So you're going to go from $30 to a much bigger price point. So take advantage of these wines now, because this is the only time you're going to get them at this kind of price point. And then once they go in the library, game over, right?
Well,
and that's the way it is, you know. And it won't be long before we'll be putting that one in the library. And do you have a 09 of that?
We do, and it's tasting great as well.
It's pouring good.
Yeah, but this has just gotten better and better.
It has. It's gotten bigger and richer as it's sat in the bottle. I mean, it's just amazing. Let me ask the question. We'll take a little break. Those of you watching live, we're not going to leave you, but we are going to stop our recording just to shorten our segments. This is a true and false again. Wine bottles from Bordeaux are different shape than those from Burgundy. Okay? The true or false wine bottles from the Bordeaux are different from Burgundy. True or false? We'll answer that after the break. This is Scott Jordan. We'll be right back. You're tuned in to Cellars of Sonoma here in